All right, welcome back, family. Hollywood. What the hell is going on over there? We've been hearing a lot of strange stories coming from there lately. Now, for years, at least I have heard about these wild things, these mansion parties that happen there, and during those parties, there's some sexual initiation rituals going on. We have heard about the sacrificing that some of these celebrities do just to get in good graces with the elites who could then push a button to skyrocket their career. We have heard of all of this, but recently I've been hearing about what is being referred to as Hollywood handlers, and these are supposedly people that are hired to covertly be next to these celebrities in order to keep them in line. We'll get into that a little later, but what I want to touch on first is the Jamie Foxx situation. Now, we know that he's had a medical emergency and not much more else is known. His family is reluctant to come out with information about his well-being, so therefore we're left to deal with speculation. And a lot of times when you don't check the speculation people are throwing around, then that becomes the truth. There's different stories as to what actually happened to him. One, not as popular as the second one I'll give you, but the first one is that Jamie was poisoned by one of these handlers of his. And what these handlers are there to do initially is to give these celebrities drugs, a certain type of drug that could keep you going for hours and days and without having to slow down. Now, the man I'm about to show you, his name is Harley Pasternak. He speaks on some of the drugs that he's experimented with, and that was actually relevant and ties into my theory about Jamie Foxx. I know this is Kanye's supposed personal trainer, but Kanye himself reveals that this man was actually a handler.
And the area that I was interested in was how drugs and food affect muscular performance. And
when you say drugs, was that like performance enhancing drugs, or are they
all kinds of drugs?
Oh, right, okay.
So working for the military, I wasn't governed by the same laws that the typical person was, so I could look at the impact of certain drugs that are not everyday things. So we looked at a drug called modafinil, which was for narcoleptics. So if you give a soldier this drug, how long could they stay awake for without having any health detriment?
Is that used now as one of these brain drugs? I've heard the name before somewhere.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. Modafinil, it will keep you awake, but it's not a stimulant.
Really?
So if a special forces person has to stay awake for 3 nights waiting for the right opportunity to do whatever they have to do, we could give them modafinil and it would keep them alert.
So my theory, knowing how busy of a schedule Jamie Foxx holds, and the fact that his situation mirrors that of Madonna's situation, my theory is that both of these guys was on this modafinil drug that is being administered by their handlers to keep them going. That's my theory. And at some point, I guess they have, they always complain about fatigue and dehydration that has to be hospitalized. I think it's this drug that they're being given. But it's ironic how their situation is so close and parallel that you would have to come to this conclusion. Both of which were reportedly being erratic, acting abnormal before they passed out. And again, with Madonna, there's not much being said about her current state of health. Everything is hush-hush. So I could be wrong, I'll say it right now, but I truly believe that this has something to do with this drug that these celebrities undergo just to keep going and generate money, and they're being pushed to do so. Now, Madonna, 64 years old, was in preparation for a multi-city tour, which was going to take months to fulfill. Reportedly, she was practicing on stage for 12 hours a day. This is a 64-year-old woman with hip problems, knee problems, and she is being worked rigorously. Did she also take part in this modafinil drug that helps you keep going, and at some point you ultimately collapse if it's not regulated properly? I don't know, that's my guess. But let's look at what the report says on what happened to Madonna. Madonna was allegedly revived with Narcan before she was admitted to the ICU last month. According to new reports from Radar Online, when the Material Girl singer 64 was found unresponsive at her home on June 24th, those who reportedly found her lifeless body allegedly administered an injection of Narcan. The medicine is most commonly used to rapidly revive a narcotic overdose in an emergency situation. However, the outlet alleges the Narcan was to use to combat septic shock, not drug use. For me, the suspicious thing here is that she was found lifeless in her home, according to the reports. But whoever was there had the Narcan drug to administer to her, just happened to have it in his pockets. Okay, so that means either two things. This funny modafinil drug that I'm talking about must have been known to be administered to her, or she's a known drug addict. I would say, which one of these two scenarios makes sense to you? Now let's take a look at the second theory, the most popular one about what happened to Jamie. Again, there's no real one, but this is the one that seems to be spreading like a wildfire.
I had somebody in the room who let me know that Jamie had a blood clot in his brain after he got the shot. He did not want the shot, but the movie he was on, he was pressured to get it. This movie he's doing with Cameron Diaz. And I'm thinking, is that why he blew up on the set a week before this medical emergency happened? Is that why he fired 3 or 4 people, because he just had it with these mandates? I don't know.
It's a stroke. It's a blood clot in an artery that cuts off the supply. That part of the brain is dead. And it has very serious consequences.
And every friend who comes out, whether it's Kevin Hart or Nick Cannon or whoever, all says pray for Jamie. He's got to get through this. Nobody comes out with great news. It's always somber.
I saw that you'd have to pass on a movie because they wanted you to get shot.
Yeah, they strangest thing, say we're doing a movie. I'm like, okay. And then all the producers in Hollywood decided that they don't want anybody on their movie set that haven't gotten a vaccine.
And what year was this?
This is 2020.
Okay, so it's in the middle of it.
Yeah. We're coming out of it. I think it might be 21 when we know, okay, everything is going back to normal. But I believe the news came out during 2020. And so, I never thought it was a producer's mandate. I thought it was a studio mandate. But I think the studios really wanted to have, kind of a little out, so they put it on a producer. Like, this is not us. This is this production, that production, this production, that production. I'm like, but it's every production. So you mean tell me every producer in Hollywood has this mandate? Give me a break. It has to come from the studio to hit every producer, because every producer don't think the same. Like,
right.
Some producers, had their own different opinions. So anyway, it was a studio mandate. They put it on individual producers. So producers talking to my people, and they're like, if he don't take it, he can't be in the movie. It's like, it's not taking it. It's like, okay, can't do the movie. Okay, no problem. Now, I didn't go out telling everybody what happened. So, I'm like, what they want is for people to tell me I'm stupid. You know what I mean? They want people to tell me, you turning down $9 million, you stupid. I'll do anything for $9 million. How stupid can Cube be? And I don't don't care about that. You know, it's like I didn't lose $9 million because I never had it. Like, if you never have some shit, you can't lose it. Okay, you lose it when it's in your bank account, then you look up and it's gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you never had it, I didn't lose it. It just was never given to me.
So, is it true? Did Jamie Foxx suffer a brain injury and has lost functions of his body? Is he paralyzed? Is he blind? We don't know. But what we do know is that his $10 million mansion is currently under renovation. Maybe it just needed an upgrade, or maybe they're preparing for the type of assistance that he's going to need with mobility. Who knows? So, was Jamie Foxx and Madonna a victim of this modafinil drug? Who knows? I wanted to tie in some instances of some other celebrities with similar complaints of being drugged by their handlers, but we don't have time on this episode, but we'll double back in part 2. This will be a part 1. What do you guys think? Am I far off the mark, or am I barking up the right tree? Like I said, personally, I don't judge these things with too much confidence. I view them with a grain of salt. To me, these things are meant to be entertaining, but we do know where there's smoke, there's fire. Whether we can reach that fire to put it out is another question. But what do you think? Do you think I'm in the right road here, or am I far off and this is all just another one of those spectacular theories that everybody else comes with about what happens in Hollywood? Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll catch you in the next one.